Good evening, everyone. This is Mike O'Malley here with the Hurricane Outlook and discussion for August 19th, 2022, around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be mainly focusing on a new tropical cyclone that is beginning to form in the Gulf of Mexico, potential tropical cyclone 4, soon to become a tropical depression, and then tropical storm Danielle. So let's go and jump straight into everything. Taking a wide look across the tropical Atlantic this evening as the sun is setting, we notice that we have one system across the basin that we are keeping our eye on, at least for immediate tropical development. This is potential tropical cyclone 404L, soon to become tropical storm Danielle, as it is now moving off towards the north and west today. We notice that the overall track forecast does take this to become tropical storm Danielle sometime within the overnight hours. Maximum sustained winds are forecast to peak at 45 miles per hour before moving inland across portions of far northeastern Mexico, and this will clip the far southern portions of Texas. Tropical storm warnings have been hoisted for those areas. If we take a look at the visible satellite imagery this evening, we notice that the storm has become a lot better organized today from when we last talked this afternoon. We notice that we have overall more banding structures, and it is very evident now that we do have outflow beginning to extend outwards from the system, meaning that this has become more convectively healthy and is able to produce that high pressure aloft and create that vacuum chamber to keep convection going up. We have some organized towers going up right now. The overall center of circulation is still somewhere down here, this disorganized low, but will likely jump towards the north and east here. This is typical of developing systems, that convective activity will eventually stretch it under that mid-level circulation, and we'll begin to see that relocate with time. The problem is this doesn't really have too much time before it runs into portions of Mexico, so that's going to be a very crucial part in seeing how this overall intensifies during the next about 12 hours or so. Again, for United States-based impacts, we do have a tropical storm warning for 2 counties in far southern Texas. This includes Brownville and Port Mansfield, Texas. Again, these are the 2 areas under tropical storm warnings today. If you look at the overall tropical storm impacts, again, the wind gusts here for Brownsville, about 45 miles per hour, gusting to 45. This will not be sustained wind, but gusting to 45 miles per hour. And about Raymondville and Port Mansfield will also be around 40 miles per hour before tapering off quite substantially the further north you get. So again, the main impacts are going to be confined to really the first couple of counties here in far southern Texas. This will not be a huge threat, and for that reason, there is only a very small elevated risk of impacts across portions of southern Texas. Mainly, again, the potential for heavy rainfall will be the main concern, as this area was already flooded out by 98L earlier. So we are now turning our attention to the potential for elevated impacts. Rainfall could be as high as 4 to 5 inches in spots. Again, those locally training bands will be one thing to kind of keep in mind here. Potential for a few isolated tornadoes, but that really has not caught the radar yet of the SPC, so we'll see if that begins to happen. Again, the overall storm environment remains healthy for at least the next couple of hours in through portions of tomorrow. Again, this is the 18Z run of the GFS file for 8 p.m. this evening. Again, we have an upper level low or an upper level high here, the part of that upper level anticyclone. Again, our storm's sitting right about there, and it's going to be moving generally towards the northwest here, and again, clipping that far southern portion of Texas. If we look at the overall wind environment, again, we can see that it maintains at least a semi-healthy structure all the way up until landfall, but as it is approaching the coast here, we start to have wind shear from an increasing, this is actually another upper level high here, and this is kind of forcing around some of this upper level wind here to be cutting off the outflow to the storm. So it looks like that it will probably peak around 45 miles per hour. Could be a little bit higher, maybe 50 miles per hour, but that's really about it. So again, the bottom line is that there will be some impacts, mainly in terms of heavy rainfall and the potential for some flooding there and some gusty winds. Again, tropical storm warnings for really about Port Mansfield and Brownsville, Texas. Again, this will not be anything that significant, but again, that heavy rainfall threat is mainly what's causing there to be somewhat of an elevated risk for impacts. Again, those first couple counties there in far southern Texas are at the greatest risk for seeing any impacts. The rest of Texas from PTC4, soon to be Tropical Storm Danielle, will be absolutely fine. We will turn our attention in tomorrow's outlook to potential major flooding across portions of North Texas, but other than that, again, right now, we are looking fine and dandy there. All right. So that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Of course, I am Michael O'Malley, and I'll talk to you guys again some more tomorrow.